again, I'm here, as I mentioned in my daily schedule today, visiting with Catherine Bert from the Bert Gallery here in Providence, right at the tip of the waterfront here. Catherine, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
It's welcome back to the city.
Yeah.
Welcome to see you back open again.
Yeah, I'm open and the weather's been just gorgeous. So, and it's nice to see real people again.
Yes,
instead of just watching everything online. But this is a great way to communicate with people, anyways.
Now, if some of you folks don't know who Catherine is, besides a major fixture in our visual arts community here in Rhode Island and throughout the globe, actually. But locally here in Providence, Gallery Night Providence, going on 24 and a half years now. Catherine was one of the co-founders of Gallery Night Providence, but that's a whole nother story. We're here in regards to the Bert Gallery, and we want to hear what's new in her world in the gallery, but also what's with all of this COVID-19 and how has this been affecting her from someone walking in and viewing the art, which we know is very important to come in and see that art, but where it's a whole new landscape now, virtually as well. So how are you doing with all of this?
It's very interesting. You're being very polite. I'm really very old is what he's saying. And so the advantage of being very old and in business is that the art world is always changing and it's evolved. And if you can imagine, I opened up my gallery before there was the internet. So I see with this COVID-19 as an opportunity to explore different mediums of connecting with people. And something like this, doing a live interview, is great. I do miss seeing people. I love objects and viewing objects. And so when I started to make my decisions, I thought about opening, people really want to have the opportunity. Yeah. If they don't feel comfortable, then we can certainly do it online, but certainly they can come in and actually view the work in person. And I got a great response from people. I really did. A lot of my old clients just said to me, one of the issues is none of the museums are open. They said, we're so happy just to go and see art. And that's what we all share.
And we miss everybody. We miss each other.
We do.
Really do.
And you miss, even this, just finding out about how's Gallery Night coping, what are they doing. I do think it's great that we offer more material online. And again, back to my old theory, I see, like, with Instagram, what an amazing platform for artists now. So many of my artists who, in the olden days, you'd get one show, you'd work really hard, you'd be open for a few weeks, and then it'd be down. Now with something like Instagram and doing all these websites, there's so many more opportunities for artists to develop relationships with clients. A lot of the artists I deal with, like the show here with Walter Feldman, are artists who had incredible careers, but they're dead, and their legacy is important. So my role is to look at legacy. But with contemporary artists, and many of my artist friends, I'm just so excited about what this can offer. COVID-19 is not fun. It really makes you reflective about life, and we hope that everybody's being healthy, and we want everybody to be healthy. But we have to kind of adjust and figure out how we can navigate this process.
Tell us more about the gallery itself here, Bert Gallery. What is your specialty? What's your forte? Now, you've had your journey has brought you to so many tips of the art world. And where do you find yourself now?
Well, I think I've always been very concerned, or my mission originally and still remains, is that there is such a great arts community here in Providence, and has been for over 100 years. And what I wanted to do and continue to do is to look at artists from this area, their impact on this community. And with that, somebody like Walter Feldman is somebody who was in Providence for 40, 50 years teaching, participating in exhibits, like we all know, like the Providence Art Club. He showed in the Providence Art Club. He was at Brown. He's shown at Bell Gallery, as well as other other galleries. So those are stories and legacies that we need to preserve. So my concern is to also preserve the legacy as well as with something like a gallery night, make sure that the artists who are living and working in the city get some kind of recognition and we get to see their work.
Now you research heavily the artists that you represent. You
Yeah.
catalog and you represent and you have a treasure trove of history of that artist, which it's very important. Like you mentioned about legacy,
Yeah.
because each artist, sometimes, as you know, a lot of artists are introverts and kind of afraid of all of this, and to have somebody preserve who they are and what they did and their impact is very important, and it's very honorable. Thank you.
It is, and I emphasize to artists, one of the important things to do is just to document the process as you're in your studio. Photograph your works, sign your works, date your works. If you keep journals about your works, because I think when you're going back and looking through, let's say, an estate like Walter Feldman, is that it's why you paint, why you create art is to create an object that will travel through time long after we're all gone. And so any supporting material that you can give to a curator or to a family member helps to document that. So don't make sure that you do that along the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Document your journey.
Yes, exactly. And continue to document your thoughts. I mean, what's going on. Like many times, I'm sure, again, 100 years from now, people are going to go back and say, well, what happened during this very stressful time? How did artists adjust? What are they painting? What are they thinking?
Yes.
It's really important for our cultural history.
Do you find if an artist keeps a journal, brings a whole nother perspective to their work?
Oh, absolutely.
Because when you can get into the mind or the thinking of that person, their feelings, their soul of each day of how they were plodding along, or they were euphoria as far as what that was inspiring them, and then to see that on canvas or whatever they're creating, it must be very powerful.
It is, and one of the very fun things that has happened with this collection is that I came across a number of audio tapes, and it's fun to see the different changes in media. There were these little cassette tapes, and then there were these CDs,
Mm-hmm.
and to hear your voice, like to hear Walter Feldman's voice and describing a painting or what he was thinking, and his humor, it's just tremendous. And
Beautiful.
I have to say, one of the nice projects here, which intersects, I think, with many artists from this community, is Rhode Island Networks did a whole series of video documentation of artists, and thanks to the great benefactor, Dr. Chazen. And one was done of Walter Feldman, and so it was so wonderful for me to be able to go back and do an internet search, find it, and see a live interview of him, watch him, hear him, think. You get a better sense of it. So if you're keeping a journal, that's so important with the artwork. And even when I pull off the canvases, little notes sometimes on the back of the canvas, like just to see his handwriting or whatever artist's handwriting informs you about the piece.
Do you also take consideration or collect or gather maybe some of their palettes that they have, or that if they keep them, because that's pretty important as far as to see what's in there, what's really drawing them to a color scheme or a set of.
That's another. I mean, I would say that's a really great point. I feel like there's different intersections of the art world, and with art supplies and art thoughts, I actually go to artists to inform me about that, what they think about it, what do they think about the studio, how it's set up, what he's thinking and stuff. In this show, Walter Feldman did a number of wood blocks, and I was able to find the actual carvings of the blocks with the pieces so that we could match them. And that helps because you can see the material and see that. But you're right. it's the materials become really important, and the choices. But again, I think the artwork stands by itself no matter what, and all of these other documents, journals, studio materials, photographs, they all just help support and enrich the story of the artist.
How awesome. Well, I want to thank you very much for
Sure.
taking the time. And I know this was impromptu.
Yeah,
off the
it
cuff.
was fun. I'm so happy.
I ambushed Catherine and said, hey, you know, and it kind of leads in very nicely because she was talking about the digital world and the adversity and diversity and how things are changing at the moment and how exciting but also very challenging. And I'm like, well, hey, I got my tripod here. So that kind of played out
I'm really
well.
just picking your brain
Yeah.
because this is all new
Yeah.
to me, but it's exciting, and life is about learning all the time.
So again, now this is Bridge Street in Providence.
Yes.
And it's so easy to find because you know exactly where she is. Now, Bert Gallery is, you know those 3 smokestacks that you drive every time you drive through Providence and you see the silhouette of Providence? She's right next door, right by the hurricane barrier, and that the hot club that's next door?
The hot club, and also, what's been very fun is the Providence water tours have started, and people are flocking to see this great weather and to see the city. So that's also a very nice thing.
So we're right here on 24 Bridge Street in Providence, right by the waterfront, and very easy to get to. Great walking distance from RISD, Brown to Wickham Street. If you visit Adler's Hardware on their 100th anniversary, and you want to come on by and say hi to Catherine. And again, you're open on Wednesday through Saturday.
Wednesday through 10 to 4.
10 to 4.
And you can always call for an appointment too, if you want to come in.
And in the past, Catherine's had coffee with Catherine, but with COVID-19, there is none of that. There's none of that exchange of goods and food and all that there.
Yeah.
But you know what? Conversation with Catherine sounds like a pretty good thing.
That
Bring
is.
your mask.
Bring your mask. And
Come
we've
and
got
have
some
a
extras
conversation.
here.
All right.
Thank you.
Folks, you have a wonderful day. I'll be checking you a little bit later. I think I'm going to be heading to Warren next to the Collaborative. You folks have a good day now. Bye.